For all those who appreciate the work that we're doing here on Standing for Truth, please hit that subscribe button because we are just getting started.
SciManDan, we've had to whack him like 7 or 8 times. As long as he keeps his head down, we don't have to whack him. But he keeps sticking it up. Now he did one a couple days ago. There is absolutely no evidence for a 6,000-year-old Earth. Dan, when you do stuff on flat Earth, you do really well, and you don't need whacked. But when you stick your head up on no evidence for a 6,000-year-old Earth, sorry, Dan. Oh, wait a minute. We'll get the big hammer. You need it again. Let's see. SciManDan net worth in 2021. Got quite a YouTube channel, a bunch of followers, $943,000. Praise God. I hope you do well, Dan. I've whacked him many times, and he's wisely chosen a softer target of flat Earth. He picks on them normally and does really good. And Dan, you are right, the Earth is round, and we're going to have a demonstration here at Dinosaur Adventureland to show the roundness of the Earth, just using our lake. Get a platform at each end, measure the height off the water, get the distance between them, calculate how much rise will there be in the lake, just because of the curvature of the Earth. I'm just wildly guessing it's going to be 1/4 inch. Brother, can you sometime find out the length of the lake from the volleyball net over to the dam, the beaver dam problem? I want a platform there. We'll get exactly the same height off each end, and we can calculate, simple trigonometry, how much rise should there be. And if we can get it, I did it once where you'd have line of sight past the end of the dock where the gazebo is. Easy to measure right there. Stand right there, hold a ruler. So that'd be the good place to figure it out. Okay, so Dan stuck his head up again. He needs whacked. The man who thinks dinosaurs walked with humans. I do, Dan. No evidence for a young Earth. Well, you guys who are teaching evolution, I want you to understand. You are telling the kids in school at taxpayer expense, you're spreading your religion, saying we started off like an amoeba and slowly became an ape and then became a human. Jesus said in Matthew 18:6, "Whoso shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me, it were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck and that he were drowned in the depth of the sea." Dan, Jesus is giving a warning. You guys like you that are destroying the faith of children are going to be in real trouble one day. My brethren, be not many masters, that's teachers, knowing we shall receive the greater condemnation. So let's listen to SciManDan here for a minute. I think I got it.
A couple of weeks ago, I addressed a video by Standing for Truth, where he was talking about the possibility of inbreeding in evolution. Unfortunately, he didn't seem to take it too well, releasing a half-hour response with his friend, Raw Matt.
All right, looks like we are live to debunk StrawManDan himself.
StrawManDan.
Guys, thanks so much for your patience today, but I promise you, it is going to be worth it.
So I thought it'd be quite good, and when I say quite good, I of course mean quite funny, that we take a look at another of Standing for Truth videos. This time, one about the age of the Earth.
Now, before we start, let me explain. Billions of years is absolutely essential. This is the first thing, first ingredient they have to have. You take away billions of years, you're taking away their pacifier. Time. That cures everything in their mind. If that doesn't do it, try more time. Dan, I fully understand, and you fully understand, this topic is critical for your religion. Because if you could prove the earth is not billions of years old, it doesn't matter what changes you've seen in the mutation rate. Nothing else matters at all. Of all the evidence you guys have tried to collect over the decades, nothing matters if the earth is not billions of years old. I know that, and you know that. So let's hear him here. Go ahead, Dan, take it away.
Hello all and welcome along to another episode of Tinfoil Tuesday with me, SciManDan. Thank you very much for joining me. Before we begin today, if you're a fan of running or exercise, then you'll be excited to hear that the StrawManDan channel is back. I will leave a description to that channel. I'm currently training for a 50k, so it might be an interesting watch for you. And also, I'd like to say a very, very happy 30th birthday to Maddie.
Maddie's the one I debated the other night. Happy birthday, Maddie. Come on down to Dinosaur Adventureland. We'll have another debate right here. I'll show you around, give you a tour. If we can keep one of the side-by-sides running, and we'll...
Many happy returns. Right, back to today's video, where Standing for Truth wants to tell us the truth about the age of the Earth. He's talking to a guest he has called Dr. Lyle. This should be interesting. Away you go.
Great answer, Dr. Lyle.
Hold it. Dr. Lyle, who is this? Well, let's see. Dr. Jason Lyle. Dr. Jason Lyle graduated summa cum laude from Ohio Wesleyan University, where he double majored in physics and astronomy and minored in mathematics. He received his master's degree and PhD from the University of Colorado at Boulder. Dr. Lyle has done extensive research in solar astrophysics at the Joint Institute for Laboratory Astrophysics, using the solar heliospheric observation, spacecraft, etc. Dr. Lyle, Dan, is he a real scientist? I mean, he does have a degree from an accredited university, you know, but he doesn't believe in a billions-of-year-old Earth. So if those of you who pick on my degree, since it's not from an accredited university, what about Dr. Lyle? Is he a scientist? Is he worth listening to? He's got accredited degrees. Just thought I'd throw that out. Or just, you know, look, let's go on here.
My next question would be, and it's an exciting one, and I believe will lead into some solid follow-up questions and discussions. What would you say are some of the best lines of evidence against an old universe and for a young one, Dr. Lyle?
Now, the age of the Earth is something that, in my eyes, absolutely can't be disputed.
I know that's the way you feel, Dan, and I'm so sorry for you. You need whack. It can certainly be disputed. Anything can be disputed at any time. You're making a claim that the Earth is billions of years old. I think anybody should be allowed to dispute that. Clearly, you're calling the Bible a lie, and you're calling Jesus a liar, which is your right to do. But you just need to understand that may not go well for you if there is a judgment day. Go back to Pascal's wager. But anyway, go ahead, Dan.
If you think that the Earth is only 6,000 years old, then you're in good company with the Friday gang.
Wait. Only 6,000. They do this all the time. Stop and think. When was Abe Lincoln president? 150 years ago? That's a long time. 150 is a long time. When did our nation become United States? 1776, they fought a big war, right? How long ago is that? 250 years ago? 250. Dan, when were the Vikings sailing around trying to find this place? 1,000 years ago. 1,000. 6,000 is a long time and plenty of time to accomplish everything we see on planet Earth, especially when you consider a worldwide flood in there. Made all the layers. Anyway, go ahead, Dan. Or Jason, I'm sorry.
The best ones, we have the birth certificate of the universe. The Bible is a history book that records when the universe began. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. Human beings are made on the sixth day, and from adding up those genealogies and so to get so-and-so. You find that it's about 4,000 years between Adam and Christ's earthly ministry, which was about 2,000 years ago. So something like 6,000 years.
Now, the issue I have here is you don't accept the thousands of scientific papers that have been written on the age of the Earth with reams of evidence included, yet you are happy that the Bible is an accurate representation of what's happened in the past.
Yes, Dan, I'm perfectly happy. Anybody else happy with that?
Yeah.
Okay. So have billions of people been happy with that for centuries, millennia? That's okay. Go ahead.
That's the best evidence because it's recorded.
Jason is right. We have historical recorded evidence. Dan, we only have historical records back about 4,000 or 5,000 years. Did those monkeys not learn to write for billions of years till they finally figured out how to keep a record? Think about it. Why is history, written history, less than 6,000 years old? I have a theory about that. The whole world's about 6,000 years old, Dan. But go ahead. Jason is right on this one. There's a birth certificate. God told us when he did it.
Recorded history. Now, I think there are lines of scientific evidence that confirm that history, that confirm a recent time scale. But that's the best because it's history, right? I mean,
Really? Lines of scientific evidence that confirm that the Earth is only 6,000 years old?
That is correct, Dan. I'll show you some. If you're willing to listen, I'm going to show you whether you're, even if you're not, because I want some of your audience. Maybe they got a brain and can, wow, maybe I've been lied to. Okay.
I'd love to see those.
If you want to find out when the last World War happened, you read a history book. You don't do a science experiment, mix chemicals. It might confirm that, but the best way to answer a history question is with a history book.
But there are people still alive that fought in the Second World War. We have.
Oh, Dan. Take a different example. Are there people still alive that fought in the Civil War, Dan? Would you have to read a history book to find about that? Don't you comprehend what you just said?
Are there people still alive when evolution happened?
Yeah. Are there people still alive from any of the wars through history? You pick the Second World War, and there might be a few still alive. I agree. So what? What about World War I? What about the Civil War? What about the Revolution? What about all the wars your country's had over there? Why would you pick the Second World War, Dan? Come on. You've got to be smarter than that. But go ahead.
Have witness accounts. There was nowhere.
What happened here?
Oh, that just fell off. I didn't know it meant anything. I just said something.
Okay.
Around when the Earth was formed.
That being said, I think there are a lot of lines of evidence that confirm that. Lots of stuff in space. That's, of course, my area of expertise.
Hang on, you're an expert in space, but you're also a young Earther.
Wait, Dan, hold it now. I showed you his credentials. Yes, Dan, he's an expert in space, way more than you. And his credentials are flawless. So he says there's evidence from space that the universe is not billions of years old. What's the problem, Dan? I know. They pulled out your pacifier. I know.
That doesn't compute.
There are things that can't last billions of years. Comets, for example, they can't last even millions of years, really, because a comet is made up of ice and dirt, and it orbits the sun in an elliptical path. And when it comes close to the sun, that icy material is blasted out in space. That's what forms a comet's tail. We had a really nice one this last summer, actually. I hope you got to see it. Nice naked eye comet. It was very beautiful.
And this is true. Comets do have a relatively short lifespan compared to that of Earth's.
But every time you see comets getting smaller, it's losing mass. We can calculate the amount of material that's there. We can calculate the rate at which it's being depleted. They can't last millions of years. 100,000 years maximum for a typical comet.
But this is still more than 6,000 years.
Well, Dan, you can't be that dumb. Okay. If comets can't last more than 100,000 years, and you're saying it's 4.6 billion, why do we still have any comets, Dan? That just limited everything down to less than 100,000 years with a simple fact from science without using the Bible. So now they're going to have to rely on an unseen, unknown source to replenish the comets. People are checking out new ones once in a while and dropping them into the space. Yeah, watch. Dan, here's an expert in astrophysics telling us that 100,000 years is max for comets. And I would agree, by the way, and I cover that on my videotape number 1 of my creation seminar series, different ways to prove the Earth is not billions of years old. It's a whole seminar series for $50. And in part 1, I go through about 30 different scientific evidence, and comets is one of them, showing all the documentation. I think all the astronomers agree comets cannot last more than about 100,000 years, be they short period or long period comets. But go ahead.
Isn't it?
In fact, in my doctoral research, I used the SOHO spacecraft, and it looks right at the sun. And one of the instruments on it blocks the sun and looks at things that get real close to the sun, like comets. And I've seen comets that have gone behind the sun and been totally destroyed in one pass. So they don't last millions of years. And my secular colleagues don't even dispute that. They would say that there must be some kind of source of new comets. They call it an Oort Cloud.
We'll talk about the Oort Cloud. Nobody has ever seen the Oort Cloud. Oort never saw the Oort Cloud. And he's the one who made it up. There is no Oort Cloud. I'll show you the scientific evidence about that in a minute, Dan.
There's no evidence for that in our solar system in terms of observational evidence.
There is what I would say indirect observational evidence for the Oort Cloud. We know that these long period comets aren't coming from interstellar space. So,
Whoa, Dan. So we know there are still comets. We know they don't last more than 100,000 years. So there must be a source for them. See, in your mind, that's the only way to solve it. Dan, the other obvious way to solve it is the universe is not more than 100,000 years old. What's wrong with that? Oh, I know.
Lots of things like that. The rate at which magnetic fields decay. Magnetic fields don't last millions of years. Magnetic fields are caused by electrical current in the core of a planet like the Earth, and that has been decaying. We know Earth's magnetic field's been decaying. We've been able to measure it for the last almost 2 centuries. It's definitely decaying. It seems to be an exponential decay, which is what we'd expect on first principles.
actually, that doesn't necessarily mean that the field is decaying into nothingness. It is more likely that it's getting ready to flip.
Oh, now, Dan, if you think the magnetic field of the Earth can flip, this whole idea about magnetic reversals is complete idiocy. You're a moron if you believe that. What they've done, they've measured through the ice rings and ice core samples stronger and weaker magnetism. No reversals, none. It's just stronger, weaker, stronger, weaker. So somebody drew a line through the middle of the sine wave and called everything below average a reversal. That is insane, Dan. There are no reversals. How could the magnetic field of the Earth reverse? My dad was an electrical engineer. I taught physical science for years, and I've looked at this. Hold it. If the magnetic field seems to be generated by the molten core of the Earth and the spin it's having, is the spin of the Earth flipping over? We try our experiment here with the bicycle wheels. How many have tried that thing? You get the wheels spinning, just try to turn it. No, Dan, there are no reversals. I'm sorry somebody taught you that and you suckered it. Fell for it. It's not true. There are no magnetic reversals. Jason is right. The Earth's magnetic field is declining. Everybody agrees. That puts a time limit. You don't like that, do you? I know why, right here. There you go. Let me get one ready for you, Dan. Time. Now let's get some more time. There we go. Yeah, you got it. There are no magnetic reversals, Dan. You've been lied to, okay?
Like it has done many times in history.
No, the magnetic field has never reversed, Dan. Never, never. It can't, okay?
We have evidence for this.
You do not.
The polarity reversals are recorded in a new rock emerging at the mid-Atlantic ridge.
That is not a reversal. It's stronger and weaker magnetism. The textbooks are lying and people are falling for it. Not true.
You can't dispute that.
I just did, and I will again, Dan. Come to Lenox, Alabama. I'll dispute it right here, but you beside me, okay? I want you to tell me how the magnetic field is generated in the Earth and how it can possibly reverse. Explain that. Is the crust spinning one way and the core spinning the other way part of the time? I think that would create some serious problems.
It's not oscillating, not today anyway. It might have during the flood, but other planets as well. There's evidence that Mercury's magnetic field's decaying. Jupiter has an enormous magnetic field. They don't last millions of years. With Earth's magnetic field, based on the current rate of exponential decay, you run it back 60,000 years ago, it would have been stronger than a neutron star, which is enough to rip the atoms of your body apart.
Okay. Here's an astrophysicist telling us, if we go back 60,000 years, at the rate the magnetic field is decaying, you chase the line backwards. 60,000 years ago, the magnetic field is so strong, it rips everything apart. Well, Dan, that would put a limit of 60,000. Unless you want to imagine, where'd SpongeBob go? Here he is. You want to imagine a reversal. I'm sorry, Dan, you got lied to, okay? And you're spreading that lie to other kids. It is not, there are no magnetic reversals, none.
So it can't be anywhere near that old. It's not even a million years. It can't be anywhere near that old.
Again, you can't just wind it back like that because we know that it reversed.
You do not know that. There's the whole problem. Stop lying to the kids. You're claiming it reversed. Please get somebody like, an electrical engineer to explain how magnetic field can reverse. You know, the rule of thumb, electricity flows this way, the magnetic field goes this way. How's it reversing, Dan?
Getting weaker before it did and stronger again afterwards.
Or carbon dating. A lot of times people think carbon dating gives the millions of years. It doesn't. No, all these dating methods are based on certain assumptions, but the fact is a lot of them give ages. Even if you assume secular principles of uniformitarianism and naturalism, a lot of them still give ages much less than the billions of years, including the fact that C14 has been found in things like diamonds that are buried deep down in layers of the earth that are well insulated from cosmic rays. C14 doesn't last even a million years. It decays very quickly. And so the fact that you find it in fossils and in just about everything that has carbon in it is a strong indication that the earth is not anywhere near billions of years old. Lots of stuff like that.
Okay, carbon-14 has a half-life of 5,700 years. So the
5,760, Dan, but go ahead.
very fact that there is carbon-14 there means that the Earth must be more than 6,000 years old.
No, it doesn't mean any such thing. Carbon-14 is formed by radiation from the sun. If the pre-flood world was different and had some kind of protective barrier of some kind, there'd be much less carbon-14. So the flood and the loss of the canopy would explain some of this. Plus, it goes back, if the half-life is 5,600 or 5,760 years, you go back a certain, you double it a certain number of times in the past, you're limited, like he said, to 50, 60,000 years. It should all be gone. If carbon-14 has been in that fossil for dinosaur bone that they find carbon-14 in, and you guys are telling the kids it's 100 or 70 or 100 million years old, there'd be no carbon-14 left at all. None, zero, zip. So stop lying to the kids, Dan.
Well, that's a great response. A lot of good information there, Dr. Lyle. With the comets one, for example, that limits the age of the universe, I've seen, as you pointed out, this Oort Cloud that's constantly being invoked. But like you said, this Oort Cloud is not actually based on real, observable, and empirical evidence. Is that right, Dr. Lyle?
Yeah, I mean, it's the idea is with an Oort cloud and it's named after Jan Oort, the guy who came up with the idea. The idea is that there's a vast supply of potential comets out beyond the farthest planets, out way beyond Neptune, but we couldn't possibly detect them at that distance. There's no way to detect them.
Indeed, but there has to be something. Otherwise,
There has to be something. Otherwise what, Dan? Otherwise, you'd have to admit. Take away your time. I know.
there is no other explanation for these long period comets.
There's no other explanation. There has to be an Oort cloud. You see how they get tunnel vision? All they can see is, we know the Earth is billions of years old. Therefore, there must be something we can't see out there. You're stuck. You're stuck in a rut.
So it really seems to be a rescuing device, a hypothesis that the secularists have invoked to protect their worldview from what appears to be evidence to the contrary. And they'll say, well, you can't disprove an Oort cloud. And that's true, I can't. It's undetectable.
Ah, we've got you there.
But there's no evidence.
We've got you there. It's undetectable. Tell you what, we could cover 500 things that he talks. So let me go back to my slides and show you. Let's see, right here. Slide number 183, Alt-DV, 183. Okay. In my seminar part 1, I talk about the age of the earth. The Bible clearly says, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. So when was the beginning? How old is this earth? Well, the Bible dates that up to about 6,000 total for the age of the earth and the universe, everything, okay? But Jesus warned about people like Dan. Knowing this first, there shall come in the last days scoffers living in England, walking after their own lust, and saying, where's the promise of his coming? For since the fathers fell asleep, all things continue as they were. There's the key. The scoffers are going to say, the way it's happening now is the way it's always been happening for billions of years. From the beginning of the creation. For this they willingly are ignorant of, that by the word of God the heavens were of old, and it's heavens plural. We cover all that on video number 2. And the earth standing out of the water and in the water. See, the scoffers are ignorant of how God made the heavens and what it was like. The earth was in the water and out of the water. We covered that the other night in one of the debates I did, okay? Whereby the world that then was, being overflowed with water, perished. The scoffers are willingly ignorant of that flood. There was a worldwide flood. One atheist I debated said, Hovind, if there was a worldwide flood, where'd all that water go? I said, it's still here. It's in the oceans. They're really big, you know. 70% of the earth is still covered with water. There's plenty of water to cover the earth, 8,800 feet deep, if you smooth out the world. Anyway, the scoffers are ignorant of that flood. Thirdly, they're ignorant of the coming judgment of God. Scoffers are ignorant of the creation, the flood, the coming judgment. We were warned about that. I wrote a book about the end times, the coming judgment of God. You get the book, the video series, everything for $98 if you go to our website. Is it on there as a package deal, Kelly? Do they have to individually check each item, or the woe?
All three of them have to be in the cart at the same time.
All three in the cart. That would be the chart, the book, and the video series. And then type in tribulation, and then knock off $50. We want everybody to get this information. Anyway, so evolutionist answer. When was the Big Bang? What created the world? The Big Bang did. When? Billions of years ago. Why? No reason. There's no reason for us to be here, is there? None. What on earth's about to happen? We keep evolving till we become gods. That's their theory. 13.8 billion years ago. This is what they're teaching the kids. I think it's criminal, humble opinion. Okay. So they say the Earth is 4.54 billion years old, plus or minus 50 million years. How old is the Earth? It's 4.54 billion years old. I gave the illustration with Maddie and never got a good answer for it. Dan, let's let you give it a shot. If you found a sunken ship with a treasure chest full of gold coins, and I asked you the simple question, when did the boat sink? You say, I don't know. Well, look at the dates on the coins. If there's a coin in there from 1750, that would be the youngest coin we find, and that's the limiting factor. Older coins don't matter. The boat had to sink after 1750. Is this a simple enough illustration? How many understand how that works, okay? So Maddie said, what if you went to a farmhouse, an old farmhouse, and you found a New Life magazine there? Somebody could have dropped the magazine after the farmhouse was built. Nobody's putting the coins in the box. This is as fair as illustration as I can find. And Dan, what's your answer? If you find a sunken ship with a gold coin from 1750, would you agree that probably any jury on the planet and any honest judge on the planet would say the boat had to sink after 1750? Fair enough. You find the dinosaur bone. You notice right away it doesn't talk and it doesn't have a date stamped on it. It doesn't say made by a dinosaur in 70 million BC in Taiwan. So there's all kinds of ways to try to determine the age of things. And I gave the illustration with Maddie. If I told you these Bic ballpoint pens were 5,000 years old, you say, come on, Hovind, they're not 5,000 years old. I can prove that because the ballpoint pen was invented in 1888, 132 years ago. Oh, well, you just proved my 5,000-year claim wrong, didn't you? Okay. 1888. Wow. Okay. So, sorry, that's wrong. Had to be after 1888. This is simple science, Dan. I don't know how you don't get it. Okay. His illustration with the comets is good. Magnetic field. Good point. Carbon dating. Good point. And there's many more like that. And you say, well, hold it. 1907 is when they invented the plastics. Oh, okay. Well, you just proved my 5,000 wrong. 1907. Well, and the pen's made out of plastic. Had to be after 1907. Then you say, hold it. Bic wasn't even a company till after World War II. Bic Corporation set up in 1945, and it's got Bic written right on it. Well, you just proved I'm wrong. Had to be less than 1945. This is common sense. I don't see how you guys cannot see it. The simple test to prove my claim of 5,000 years is simple to disprove that claim. You're claiming the Earth is 4.54 billion years old. Okay, it's pretty simple to disprove that claim. Certainly, as Jason said, the Earth has a birth certificate. God's word said very clearly, God made it. Jesus said he's God in the flesh, John 1, 1 through 14. The word was made flesh and dwelt among us. And Jesus said he's the one who created everything. He's the creator. And Jesus said, have you not read that he which made them at the beginning made them male and female? Here's Jesus claiming that Adam and Eve was the beginning of the creation. Same thing in Mark 10:6. So Dan, you're clearly calling Jesus a liar, which you're welcome to do for now. But someday every knee shall bow and every tongue shall confess. Jesus said the creation of Adam was the beginning, and death was brought into the world by sin. God made a perfect world, man wrecked it. Dan, in your religion, evolution, death brought man into the world. What happened to all those monkeys that are our ancestors that weren't quite as adapted as humans? One of them got a little closer to a human. The rest have to die, or else the new gene gets blended back into the gene pool. By death. By man came death. In Adam all die. So Jesus said the creation of Adam was the beginning. Bible says nothing died till Adam sinned. And God wrote on a rock, in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth. He did it all in 6 days, Exodus 20. So if you choose to not believe that, that's your business. So I want to point out, you're calling God a liar. You're calling Jesus a liar. And I want to skip up to the, let's see, about the Oort Cloud. I forgot to mark that one. I should have. It's been a busy day today, hasn't it? I think that's slide number 400 and something in this 1961 slides I have on seminar part 1. Let's see. We'll just cover that one. He's claiming there's an Oort Cloud. And Dan, I say you are incorrect. There is no evidence whatsoever for any Oort Cloud. Okay, where do we go here? No, I don't want that. I keep adding stuff every day. I'm sorry. I live for this. Whenever I get a free minute, you know what I do? I go up to my house and work on my PowerPoint for the next presentation. I take this real seriously. I love it. I want you to get very simple truth. God made the world. I want you to come to heaven, Dan. I feel like I'm pushing you out of the way of the speeding car coming toward you, and you don't see it and you don't appreciate it. But I'm going to try anyway. Here we go. Let's see, horse evolution. That's the only reason I'm whacking you. You keep sticking your head up, Dan. Go stick with the flat earthers, would you please? Make my life a lot easier. Actually, when I see you come out with a video on evolution, I rejoice because it takes a lot less preparation time. So easy to debunk. Okay. Tell you what, rather than take the time to find it, since I got thousands of slides here, watch my seminar part 1. Dan, I will contend there is no Oort Cloud. Carbon dating proves the Earth is less than 60,000 years old. The rings of Saturn are dissipating, moving away. The moon is moving away. I talked to Maddie about that. Maddie, the moon's moving away. Yeah? Well, that means it used to be closer. And that puts a time limit of 1 billion years. And you're claiming it's 4.6 billion. I'm sorry. That's wrong. Yeah, she said, well, how do you know it's always been moving away? Okay, well, what's going to start it moving and what's going to... It was closer. Anyway, the whole thing is nonsense.